So then, I've got a bit of explaining to do. So as you'll know, I've not uploaded a video pretty much for months, to be fair. Same with social media, I've not really been putting much on there either. That's because a lot's been going off that it's not really been easy for me to document, and I've just needed to concentrate on sorting out. Now the two main questions are, one, where's the Type R? And two, why is the Qashqai on the drive? It doesn't live on the drive. The Type R lives on the drive. The Type R's not here. I don't have it. And that's one half of the equation that I can't explain yet. I will say it is still in my possession. The Type R hasn't gone. It's still my car. I'm still in no rush to get rid of it. What's happening with it is something that I want it to be a good finish. I want it to be good quality, and it's a job that I'm not qualified or have the knowledge or experience to do right. So it's a way of having something done, which is exciting. But the Qashqai is on the drive because I won't be driving that car anywhere else ever again. I am getting rid of that car. And the reason why it's on the drive is because the car where the Qashqai sits is right there. And that is the new daily. Which, instead of messing around, instead of building you up, I'm just gonna show it you now.
And there she is, a 2011 1.4 petrol Honda Jazz. So then, I know you're full of questions, so it's probably best for me to explain. We've had the Qashqai for about 2 years or so now, and our situations have just changed. Max is getting a lot older, he doesn't need a lot of stuff that needs carrying around, like travel cots if you're stopping somewhere, and all this other kind of luggage that comes with a baby that you don't realise until a baby's born, really. But long story short, we don't need all that stuff now. So we don't need a car that's massive, that's got loads of boot space, which this kind of still does. And the other main reason is that we never thought it was going to happen, especially Francesca, but this will hopefully be her first car, which for a first car, it's banging. I love it. I'm going to be jealous when I don't get to drive it all the time. So we were very, very lucky to find a second generation Jazz for one, and two, a facelift, which I much prefer body styling wise for the price bracket that we were going for. There are a few scuffs here and there, there are some imperfections which I will show you, but in terms of mechanically, the car is absolutely perfect. There's not a thing going wrong with it at all. It drives absolutely fine. Aircon works, all the electric windows work, folding mirrors work, nice feature. All the radio functions work, all the lights work absolutely fine. Indicator stalks work fine. There's nothing wrong around like ABS sensors going off. It's all absolutely perfect. Now I'm back inside the car at the minute because the main thing that I do need to confess about this car before I start raving about it, and some people are going to be like, oh no, and some of you won't care, like I don't. So at the end of the day, I have a separate car which I'm very lucky to have, which is my toy. Basically, that's what that is. That's my hobby, and anybody that gets into cars, maintaining cars, modifying cars, and especially having one second to their normal car, understands that that's quite an expensive thing and quite a lucky thing to have. So this is all trying to be as perfect as possible for what Francesca needs when this becomes her car. And the main thing that entails is this. It's an auto. The key thing about this car is it being accessible and easy and happen as soon as possible for Francesca to have the independence of being able to drive her and Max around when I'm not there. So she struggled loads with manual lessons. Some people can get it, some people can't. It is what it is. So she's currently going down the automatic route, which, well, fingers crossed, touch wood, because she's doing absolutely brilliant at the minute, lead to her being able to drive this car. So that's the route we've taken. Again, I don't care that it's auto. I think it's still a quirky little car. It's a piece of cake to drive around, and it has a sport mode.
and it has flappy paddles. Still a bit of summit. But in terms of looking around the interior, whilst you ignore my milk bottle legs, as you'll notice, God, I need such a wider angle lens than this one that I've currently got. This steering wheel looks quite familiar, which is pretty much the FN2 steering wheel, other than the fact this is all like rubber, which is perishing quite badly, and there's a crack there. So this could be something that we could replace in future, hopefully with like maybe a leather stitched one, and just keep the same functionality that's what's on here, which this doesn't have cruise control, so this section is quite large. There's not normally one button there, usually it's normally split up like this, but it doesn't have cruise control, but that is what it is. But that kind of is where the similarities end, where you've got this, well, I can explain it, it's crazy in the FN2, it's crazy in here, strange and quirky dashboard design where you've got this like dipped layer here, goes up here for where your dials are, another section, and then it's like a half pipe that runs across the entire dash, and then an extra section at the top there where the vents are. Cool extra windows there, I think they're amazing. And in terms of cubbies, my word, so you've got this section here where you can cool things in there as well, like traditionally in a glove box. You've got this section here to keep things, as well as a cup holder there in front of a vent if you do want the vent on to keep your drink cool, as well as on this side, the driver's side, which is even better. You don't have to reach very far if you've got a cup of coffee. Plus your traditional glove box underneath, plus two more drink holders there, an extra section there which I've just put my sunglasses in, and another section back there which is even bigger to put things in. Two little sections here either side of the handbrake, another section there, oh yeah, and another deeper one there if you want to put another drink in, that kind of thing. So, as well as your door cards. It's mad for space. Did I not mention this little one there that I've just picked a little bit of rubbish out of? Amazing. So in terms of a place to be, it's so cool. I'll put the ignition on, hopefully the radio can be turned off fast. You get that classic beep, because my seatbelt's not on. Climate control there, heated mirrors and heated rear window. And then this is the other part that I didn't really mention. It's done 144k. But with it being a Honda, that doesn't bother me that much. And like I said, it still drives amazing. I am literally so happy to be, one, back in a Honda, two, I think it's hilarious that it's just another red one. There's been 3 red Hondas now. It's just a happy little car, and I'm a happy tall man in a happy little car. So from the outside you've got your, well, standard silver alloys, which it is what it is. They do need a bit of a refurbish as well. The whole car needs a detail inside and out. There's loads of like swirls and scratches that'll need sorting out at some point, and all the inside is a little bit grubby, to be honest. But at some point we could probably take the seats out and do a wet vac as well and get all that cleaned up nicely. So it's a nice little project in terms of getting it right again and clean again. But like I was saying, you've got the facelift. I'm sorry, it's a little bit windy, I'm going to try and speak over that. You've got the facelift front end where you've got these lines that come down here, make it look a little bit more aggressive, as well as I think the grille being slightly different. I really like the look of these. I know there's the SI version which looks even better, but obviously with it being an auto and it being Francesca's first car, I don't think going down that route was the one to go down. But you've also got the facelift rear lights. I also think is a really cool design with all these hexagons in, like LED brake lights, that kind of thing, and a nice fat centre section at the rear. So yeah, you'll notice, I don't know if you can see on camera, maybe if I come round this way a bit more, we are a bit 50 shades of red at the moment. It looks like there's been a bit of a scuff or a bumper replacement, and the colour matching has just been horrendously bad. Not to a point that it bothers me. It's still a solid bumper, it's still, everything's fine. There's no rust underneath or anything like that on the sills, so that's all good. There's also like a very small dent here on the tailgate, which is annoying because I feel like that's happened in my ownership. This also needs a little bit of WD in this little metal hinge that's inside here, because it just bounces, so you have to kind of push it back and then it shuts. So that's something that can just be remedied quite easily. I love this boot section. I'll explain why.
multiple things really. One, you've got this cool parcel shelf that kind of splits into two sections. You've got another little storage section here. You want to pop an umbrella in there, but oh, mind the dirt, we have been to the park recently. But the other pièce de résistance of the boot, you thought the FN2 boot were clever, get ready for this. So you've got this little section, little section here, if you want to store things in this little net. Amazing. So I've got some rags, scraper and all that kind of stuff, all your little essentials that you'll need. And then you've got a little another section here that's a set of instructions, and you think, why, what? This is cool enough. What else is cool? I'll show you. So you can lift this up and then it fits in these two hinge points here. And you've got it as a shelf, which you can do that with the net open or with the thing closed on top of it as a little shelf, and you've got all your extra storage underneath. Amazing. I'm blown away. I'm selling the Civic. You can also, if you really wanted to and you had nothing in the net section, it goes all the way back there and there is a point that it sits in, and you can just have it completely out of the way altogether. So cool, so clever, so Japanese. You've also got the classic Honda Magic seats in the rear, so which I don't think the model before, the first generation Jazz, has this. So it's another nice perk of having a second gen, where you pull the top here and it goes all the way down and sinks into the floor. So you've practically got a minivan in the back. But then if you don't want it that way and you've got something really tall that needs to be stood up, like a plant pot, it can come all the way back up. This can pull up here, and all you need to do is put this bar down once it's up, which I'm going to try and do with one hand, and it locks in place. And I never noticed, but you've even got little sections here to hang your bags on. Oh. So when I open this cute little bonnet, you will see the engine, which is a 1.4 petrol engine. That's as far as my knowledge goes. I haven't done any research. We'll come back to that. The other joke with these is that the FN2 is practically a fat Jazz. That's what the people say. That's what they say about like the chassis being very similar, if not the same. I don't know how true that is. It is what it is. But it is red. It is the same kind of generation, and it is smaller. It's almost like a Civic Junior. So I have got the aircon on just to show you driving it around a little bit. I've tried to get it so it's not blowing on you. But in terms of like driving this around, like I said, it's so easy to drive. It's very point and shoot in terms of handling. And obviously there's no coilovers or anything on it like that. Nothing set up, but it's really nippy in terms of where you can steer. The only thing is the seats aren't very grabby, so usually the car handling can outperform your seating position. But going on to being the auto gearbox, it's a CVT gearbox, which the tone of the exhaust and how many revs depends on how much throttle you put on, which is kind of like the opposite of a manual, because that's determined by what gear you're in. So you want more power, you put your foot down more. That's basically it. Sports mode wise, you probably might not be able to hear it, but the revs do climb a little bit when you put it in sports. So if you just listen, you might not hear that. It just went from to gain like half a K in revs. It's a bit more responsive on the throttle, and it also puts the revs a little bit higher when you put your foot down a little bit less. So I mean, in terms of space of foot movement, the revs will climb quicker. It'll put it in a higher rev range on the CVT gearbox, so that you've got more power to when you put your foot down, basically. But it is nippy. It says VTEC. I don't think I can feel it, and it does. Although it says 8,000 revs, it doesn't let you reach there. But you put your foot down. Yeah, so the revs climb, then it sets off, and then it's at that peak rev range for acceleration, and it just stays there, and then it goes up the gear ratios to climb speed, basically. But yeah, you've got the floppy paddle gearbox, well, not the gearbox, you've got the floppy paddles, which are a little bit of a gimmick, where you can only really use them in sport mode. If I put it in just normal drive, the revs go back down again. If I can see on the dash there's a little number, if I put it into a gear. So say if oh, it goes up to 7, by the way. If I go down a gear, it puts it to 6th, 5th, and then I put my foot down a little bit, it just gets rid of the gear. So that's more in drive mode. It's more for like if you're in a bit of a tricky situation. I'm guessing like if it's a bit slippy or you're up a hill and you're crawling, that's what that's kind of for. Or if you want to use it for engine braking, I suppose.
The other thing is, if I put it in sport again, then the flappy paddles stay in whatever gear you put them in. So if I change up, it says M5 now for manual 5, I'm going to 6 and 7, which foot down, nothing really happens. But I can see there's engine braking now as I'm going down gears. I'm 4th, 3rd, more engine braking, and it's at 2.5 now. And then the revs do climb like a manual would. The only thing is, I've tried revving it out, it gets to about 6.5 where you've got like your red line section coming up, and it just comes out of automatic mode, so it doesn't want your red line in the car basically, which I don't even know if that's possible in something like this with it being a CVT. But it's nice to have that option there if you do prefer to manually change your gears, but other than the satisfaction of clicking it, it's not really any point. So that's that then. This is the Qashqai successor. What do you think? Do you think it's a worthy change? Do you think it's a downgrade? Are you happy that we're just backing another little red Honda? I certainly am. I suppose it's better the devil you know. Plenty of other choices and cars out there that are a bit more exciting, but for what we need right now, I feel like you can't really go any better. Oh yeah, not to mention it's 5-door, and I can still practically fit the car in my pocket. So in terms of practicality, quirkiness, and visually how it looks for this type of car that it is, I'm very happy with it. In terms of modification wise, I don't know how far we're going to go down that route. There probably will be some small things to it. If anything, they're going to be visual. We'll see what happens. There's no point putting things like an exhaust on it. As I've explained, it's the CVT gearbox. It's just going to be a continuous like 30, 40, 50, like no change in tone. So there's no point, and we're not chasing performance. So yeah, we'll see how quirky we can make it really. Hopefully very soon, not in the next video, but maybe in the next couple or so, the Type R will be back and I can reveal it to you, what's gone off with it. I'm really excited, I'm really anxious, I'm really itching to get back hold of it. All in all, it's quite a big thing. There's bigger things that people can do to cars, there always is, but to me, this is quite a big thing and I've waited a very long time. I've had the vision in my head a very long time, and I've started the process of getting this done from last time I went to Modified Nationals last year, which were quite a while back. Speaking of Modified Nationals, I am going again this year. This time it's in Lincoln. I've not got no plans to go to any other shows other than this one, just because obviously of how much it costs. Paying for the ticket, stopping in a hotel 2 nights, food, accommodation tickets, whilst you're actually there spending money. I really wanted to go to that show again, so I've had to sacrifice any other shows to make that happen basically. Yeah, I will be there in July, I think it is. Anyway, if you did enjoy this video, or if you enjoy any of my videos, please like and subscribe to the channel and click the little bell button so it reminds you when a fresh video does come on. I know it's been such a long time, it's just been manic, obviously trying to sort this out, sorting stuff out with the Type R and spending family time, which has obviously been nice and I can't apologise for that. So, and I've also been doing a lot of filming and editing in my actual day job, which is also something that I'm really excited about doing. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and until next time guys, like I always say, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye. That Mustang in the distance says Coyote on the badge. Don't see that every day. Wow, nearly just smashed the camera. Brilliant. Are you okay? Are you good?